Hello and welcome to Beyond the Scale, Weight Loss and Wellness. I'm your host, Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you, Coach.
I know. I feel like I just saw you.
I know.
Why?
I don't know. You're kind of blurry this morning. Or maybe it's my eyes. My eyes have not been really faithful
It
to
does
me
look
lately.
blurry.
Yeah, it looks like it's like you're setting a
Here,
mood.
let me clear
Yeah.
my space here. How'd
There
that
you
help?
go. Oh, it did. It
Did that work?
It was just dust.
It's dust. That's
all
gross.
It was. Yeah. Well, good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody. Good to hear everybody. Good to hear you on the podcast. You can't see us on the podcast, but it's good to be with you this morning. Go get a cup of coffee and settle in just for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
We're just gonna jump right into the topic today. This is something that is really important to you and I as coaches. By the way, if you're listening to this and you wouldn't mind, would you just give it a share? Would you give us some feedback on the Apple podcast? That really helps us get our message out to the masses. So yeah, today's topic is really important to us because as a business, you know, the typical marketers of health and wellness companies, they like one thing, and they like numbers. They like how many pounds have your clients lost. And so they have a system set up where it's like a rotating door, you know, like one of those flippy doors, you know, that you walk in and it just rotates round and round. That's what the model of health coaching is like, is let's get them in, let's see those numbers drop, and let's get them out so that we can get them in, get the numbers, get more numbers, and get them out. That's the fiscal kind of policy of healthcare in general, revolving door, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't particularly, because I've lived this and because you've lived this, I don't particularly like that style.
No.
Not great on the bottom line, because our goal is to get people to understand what we're going to talk about today, get them out the door, and either get him coaching for us and changing more lives, or have them live their life for the rest of their life free. So our goal is long-term. That's why we have an food addiction treatment center. That's why we focus on real life, not just a list of rules here to do, don't do this, and then send them on their way. Our goal for our clients is long-term. And if people don't get what we're going to talk about today, they'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
They will be right back, because the only consistent thing in life is inconsistency, and the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is, Coach?
We were talking about FOMO.
FOMO. Yeah.
Actually, the social aspects of
Yeah.
this keto world, this lifestyle, not just keto, but living a better life, the social aspect.
Yeah. Unless you're a hermit.
Right.
You know, if you're a hermit and you just stay inside all day long and you don't see people all day, you'll do great.
Yeah, no, unless you're scrolling on the Facebook.
Exactly.
The social media. Yeah.
Yeah. So reality is we have to live our life, and we have a big social life. Even if you're an introvert, you still have a social life. You still have to grace us with your presence every once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's just no other way to get around it. And so if you don't grab a hold of what we're going to talk about today, you're just going to go on a diet for about 8 weeks, and then you're done. Yeah. You're done. You'll watch the weight come back. You'll watch your old habits go back into play, and you're on a diet. So we don't like diets. I don't like diets.
Well, fact is that we are so worried or consumed by what people's opinions of us mean. I think I said that in a
Yeah.
weird way,
No,
but
I
their
I I get
opinions
you.
are great in our world, and it really shouldn't be,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we let it.
Well, and explain FOMO, fear
Yes,
of missing out, right?
right.
We all have it. I don't know, even introverts have it. I always laugh at the saying, even though I'm an introvert, still ask me to come out. I still want to tell you no. I still want to know you thought of me. I'm still going to tell you no, but at least ask me out, right?
Yeah,
And
unfortunately, that doesn't work.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I haven't figured out if I'm an introvert or a forced extrovert. I don't know. And I think it's changing as I'm getting older because I'm really liking staying in.
Let me explain something on this in this world, an epiphany that I had years ago. I was an extrovert, probably majority of my life. I have explained before that I used to bring coffee and donuts to people in the morning, and they hated me for that because I was such an extrovert. I was a morning person, and people don't like that for some reason. I don't get it. Woe is you. Okay. So I'm going to move on and share my love to somebody else. But then
You could
as
always bring me coffee.
I would,
Totally. You
if
could
you were,
always.
yeah, absolutely. But you have to be happy and smiling when I give it to you.
I would. I would. If I knew you were
Okay.
coming, I would.
That's good. Um, but on the other flip side, when I started finding myself in a state of I felt the transition of I'm getting older, I've got kids. I stayed home a lot with my kids. I began to withdraw from people. I didn't
Mhm.
see people often. So then I became comfortable in this mindset of being away from people. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to put the effort in going out, or people overwhelm me, or I don't like the different personalities of people. It stresses me out.
Right.
I began to have these excuses of withdrawing from people.
Mhm.
Uh Now going from an extrovert to an introvert, I didn't like it. I
Yeah.
didn't
Oh, well, it
I
would be
liked it, but I
scary.
didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it, but I didn't like it because I saw that, why do I not enjoy being around people anymore? Why
Mhm.
am I a homebody now? So I had to basically whip myself in shape and say, "No, we're gonna enjoy time to ourselves. That's
Mhm.
okay. There's that space that you need, but you need to get yourself out there because our church, we talk about how community is king, and
Mhm.
how with community,
Yes.
that's a good way of helping you grow and
Mhm.
to be connected with people. And so you don't withdraw from people, you
Yeah.
actually link arms with people to grow deeper in your relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had to whip myself out of it. It was so easy and comfortable
Mhm.
to be by myself at
It's
home,
safe. It's
away from
safe there.
people. It was
You
safety,
don't get hurt there,
right?
right?
And now I'm in this moment of like, challenge me. I dare you.
Mhm.
Let's do this. Get me out of my comfort zone. And then there's that whole balance. So yes, I
Yeah.
think we can get into a state of excuses and comfort, and like we're not going to get out of our jammies. We're not going to put
Mhm.
our makeup on. We're not going to do anything to put ourselves out there.
Right.
And
Right.
then when somebody has an opinion about us, then we're like, we're thinking about it all day. We're sitting
Yeah.
on it. We're
Oh,
soaking it in.
exactly.
So,
Yeah. So if
like,
you're
that's,
pre-prepared for that, and
yeah,
if you kind of use the tools that we're going to talk about today and how to do that, you're going to set yourself up, even if you don't feel like it. The
mm,
majority of us listening today, either on the podcast or on the Facebook Live, are not going to feel like doing what we're doing today. But we're
right.
telling you, if you don't do what we're talking about today, you are on a 6-week diet. You may lose 20, 30 pounds, but you will be on a 6-week diet because this, even if you don't get yourself out there and get yourself into the social world will find you. The anti keto people will find you. They'll sniff you out and they'll draw you into their unhappiness, right? So,
Yeah.
we want to teach you today how to live in a social world and have your lifestyle not be moved an inch. Because if you decide, I would rather meld into my friendships, or I would rather cave to Uncle Joe who says you're going to die on that keto style, or if you fall for that, it's over for you.
Mhm.
It's over because especially if you deal with food addiction and the minute you take that first bite, it's a 30-pound sugar binge. Or if you're a normal eater, you ease into that lifestyle, you're going to be found on the other side of the tracks in another 30-pound sugar binge. Okay. You have got to, the first thing you have to do is you have to reframe your lifestyle. The minute you enter our program, you are no longer a part of that old lifestyle. You are a part of a new lifestyle that if you can't unsee what we're teaching you about your health, we have not done our job correctly. We
Right.
want you to look at that old lifestyle as absolutely poison. And I'm not exaggerating about that because some people say, well, just a little bit here, just a little bit there, it
Gotta
doesn't
enjoy
hurt.
life while you're
Yeah, just
here.
a little bit. Well,
Yeah.
would it work the same? Because what we're dealing with is we literally are dealing with poison and cancer causing ingredients.
Yes.
Are you going to say the same thing if I give you a clear glass of water and say just a little bit of arsenic is not going to hurt you? No, you're not. We want you to unsee the sad lifestyle and we want you to see a brand new lifestyle, as healing, as medicine, not a diet. Because if you go back, you're going back to the old ways. You're going back to the Alzheimer's threat. You're going back to the type 2 diabetes threat. You're going back to the obesity. It's coming back. It's just a matter of time and how fast it comes. So you've
Right.
got to talk about and you've got to see this thing as a lifestyle. When you see it as a lifestyle, it's not a choice for you anymore. It's like a food allergy. You wouldn't, if you're allergic to peanuts, you're not going to go to Texas Roadhouse and not ask them, hey, did any peanuts touch this food? Did any cross contamination happen? No, because it's your life you're talking about. You need to look at your life the same way because it is just as important. So if you don't see your lifestyle, your new lifestyle as a lifestyle, you're going to just be on a 6-week diet,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Darcy, when did you do this? And if you think back in your journey, when did you have that moment of, oh, this is a lifestyle? Or did you just kind of say, I need to coach for you, and so I got to live this way? Like,
Well,
was there a
that's not
moment?
fair because I really
Because
wanted
that
to
was
work for
true.
you. I was. It was basically my let's make this a win-win. Like I'm
Mhm.
going to be able to learn this lifestyle. I saw how it worked for you. And so I wanted to, make it work for me too.
Mhm.
But if it didn't work for me and if I found it challenging, I was still learning your ways and I was able to
Mhm.
do I would think I was just doing your I was learning your lifestyle just to do your marketing.
Yes.
Um
Yes.
but then in the same breath, like as I was like, "Oh, this is freedom." I
Mhm.
am learning that I it's a safety in knowing that this combination of food choices is a freedom of not feeling like I was bound to gaining weight the next day
Mhm.
based on some choice or me just getting tired of this way of living. So then I, go backwards or, a lot of the excuses that we hear a lot
Mhm.
in this practice. But I would say that probably along the 6-month line when I was
Mhm.
actually seeing myself go beyond what weight I would lose, like beyond the 30-pound weight loss.
Yeah.
When I saw that not only was I losing the weight, but there was something that was changing within me, this clarity that I couldn't explain. Like you've talked
Mhm.
about several times of just seeing light for the
Yeah.
first time.
Right.
Um, you
Well, it
know,
doesn't help that we're not starving ourselves. It
right,
doesn't hurt that we use real ingredients like heavy cream cheese, and all of these
right.
really good
Yeah.
ingredients. Well, not you don't do that now, but it
No, I
doesn't
don't.
hurt for the majority of us. It doesn't hurt that we get to use that it really is a yummy
Yeah.
lifestyle, that it doesn't
Yeah.
feel diety. So that
Right.
that doesn't hurt the
Right.
long term.
But then after that 6 months started to change and I was feeling that, I then wanted to fight for this lifestyle, saying, "Why isn't everybody on this lifestyle?
Mhm.
We don't." It's like finding the cure for cancer,
Mhm.
where everybody's fighting for, "Oh, this is the cure," or "We haven't found a cure," or "This is something that's reversed that this." And there's like this controversy of like if we found the cure to cancer or not. This
Right.
is the key to a healthy lifestyle where people can get their chronic illnesses reversed. So I'm thinking, well, why is this not a thing? Why is
Mhm.
everybody, and I learned that later on that this is actually a pretty highly controversial lifestyle, somehow, some reason that people have to make it politics.
Right. Oh, yeah.
um and so then I felt like I had to um fight for this, which I had to know all the science behind it.
Yeah.
And that's where
Got
the
overwhelming.
social world of, yeah, it got very overwhelming because I felt defeated when people would fight me on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand why you're fighting me on this.
Mhm.
Why are you so ingrained that the standard American diet is the way, the truth, and the life, and nothing
Right.
can come in between this
It's
diet
shocking.
and it is. And I was throwing my pearls before the swine. I
Mhm.
was fighting tooth and nail trying to convert people over to this
Mhm.
world, and I would just have like it would be empty words. They would hear blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and they would ask me questions.
Mhm.
They were curious about it, but not curious enough.
Yeah. Well, and
So
I think you kinda naturally just kinda dove into the second topic, and that
yeah.
is defending this lifestyle. Listen, you can choose to defend it, or you can choose to just live quietly, because
Hmm.
you're living quietly, and this happens to our clients all the time, and we do not recommend going out and being a keto evangelist or a
No.
carnivore evangelist. We don't recommend that lifestyle. Number 1, it turns people off. Number 2, your lifestyle, your body shape, your skin, your hair, everything is going to do the testimony for you.
Right.
When you lose weight, now the thing that I am struggling with now is, and we didn't have to do this, Darcy, we didn't have to defend our hard work and natural weight loss. Right
Yeah.
now, and thankfully, Ozempic butt and Ozempic face is a real thing, because you can tell who's on the shot and who's not.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell who's doing it the shortcut way, and you can
Yeah.
tell. They lose their face and they
And
lose their butt.
not only that, but you can see what they're eating still. Like
Exactly. You
they've
see
all
them putting the
rapidly
donuts in.
yeah, they're still
Yeah.
eating the donuts, they're still drinking sodas,
Yeah.
they're still doing the same old thing,
Yeah.
but they are losing weight. Now
Yeah.
that is not
And
common
their
sense
body is
there.
caving in. So
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
pretty much tell who's on the shot
Yeah.
now. But that was a really sensitive thing for our people. Like, we're working really, really hard. And normally we would tell them, hey, your lifestyle is going to show it. Your body is going to do the testimony for you. You don't
Mhm.
have to defend a thing,
Right.
because, and that's what happened. People would mock our clients at first. Oh, you're doing that keto thing. You're going to
Yeah.
die. You're going to die of a
I
heart
had a
attack.
friend die of ketoacidosis. You're gonna
Exactly.
die.
And then suddenly, as your body changes and you start, the beauty just kind of seeps out of you, because you do. It's a keto face. It's like the
Yeah.
glow.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh," they won't say it out loud yet, but they're watching.
Yeah.
And then the longer you go, they're like, "Okay, can you please tell me who your coach is? You're still
Yeah.
alive, you're looking amazing, you're feeling fabulous. Who's your coach?" It's just
Yeah.
a natural. So we don't recommend going out there to the street corner and being a keto evangelist, because
No.
your body's going to do that for you. And
I was gonna
that
say
said, what Darcy said is true. You got to decipher who wants to know legitimately about your lifestyle and who doesn't. You've
yeah.
got to know that tone in their voice of, do I walk away? Does this person want to fight me? Or does this person really want to change their life?
If this person, if they are following, if you're living this in a quiet way, and I'm sorry if you keep hearing my husband talking in the background, but this is the only way my internet works.
That's fine.
So
I'd rather have your internet.
um but the silence of it all, I think it's an amazing thing to know the science in
Mhm.
and out,
Mhm.
and understand it. I I think that people are watching to see if you fail.
Mhm.
I think people are seeing all the different diets that you've been on before and the fad things that you've been on before, and they're watching you to see, okay, when is this fad going to be over?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
still have people ask me, when are you done with this diet? When
Yep.
are you going to be done eating carnivore? When are you going to be done living this diet? And I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm so tired of hearing that, because I'm in this 6 years
Mhm.
now, going on 6 years, and you still have to ask me when I'm done with this diet.
Yeah.
You would think that long term would be like, oh, I don't think that they're giving this up.
Yeah.
But I also was brought up in a conversation the other day about somebody talking about, watching people because they're not living this lifestyle themselves, but they watch people that are living this lifestyle and they see those that jump in and out of fads and they're
Mhm.
not interested. They're saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
this person's on another fad."
Yep.
And then they say that they watch how Mark and I have been living this long term and they're like, "Okay, I see that this is working," and that they are not letting
Yeah.
this go.
They
Now
notice
this
that.
this was the epiphany that I had with, when people go to doctors and say, "Oh, I've been carnivore for, 3 months," and the doctor snaps at them for being, carnivore
Yep.
or keto. And it makes sense because I'm like, if they are seeing people living this lifestyle short term and then do something completely wrong, then
Mhm.
of course they're going to be like, "Oh, you're just damaging yourself. This is
Mhm.
terrible. Why are you doing that? You need to be on medication."
Mhm.
Not only do they understand, like if they've seen somebody live this lifestyle for a long time and they've been able to get off their medication, for one, they're not needing medication anymore from them, so that's
Right.
out of their pocket.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
done. But another aspect is that, some people are getting off their medication and not in a safe way where they're doing it without the help of their doctor, but their doctor doesn't
Mhm.
want to help them. So they're
Exactly.
in a pickle themselves, but the doctors
Time to
freak
find a new
out
doctor.
because they see that this is just another fad for people.
Right.
And
And most patients know that their doctor want them to eat healthier. Most patients reject if a doctor said you can change this with your lifestyle. Most Americans are too lazy and too addicted to processed food to do it. And doctors know that. And the only aspect we beat up on doctors a lot, and we should, but there are those good doctors out there who say you can reverse diabetes if you change your lifestyle. Most people are too lazy to do it, and they're too addicted to the sugar and the processed food to do it. And so the doctor's only recourse to keep that person alive is medication. So
yeah,
we do it to ourselves as well. And so the pressure from the doctors, the pressure from people, the pressure of you're missing out. So let's talk about Friday night and your friends are saying, "Hey, come out with us." And so let's talk about FOMO, fear of
yeah.
missing out. Let's talk about it head on. What do we do when we go into those social situations where people and the very person who saved my life, my son, was perfect example. Throw him under the bus. But he was a perfect example of mom, you hit your weight loss goals. Now, can you go have a beer with us? Now, can you know, when are you going to give it up? And he was the person who saved my life by asking me to get on a roller coaster. And I had to say, no, I can't fit on a roller coaster. So that very person is not there for life to protect you. Now, he didn't do that intentionally because he doesn't have a weight issue and he doesn't understand food addiction, right? And 90% of your people now, the 10-20%, there are enablers and there are people who want to kill you, who know, who
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that you're going to die if you don't change your lifestyle. And they
right.
offer you a donut. They offer you and they enable you. So yeah, 10-20% of those people are real and you got to find those suckers in your life and you got to cut ties because those people will kill you. All
Yes.
right? But the casual ones of, "Hey, you used to be fun when you came out and had a beer with us. You don't do that anymore." What do we do with those people? What do we do with ourselves first to protect ourselves first? Then what do we do with those people?
So it comes down to how you respond and if you do respond. I mean, you're
Yeah.
gonna in that situation when they do ask, like, "You used to be fun. Why can't you drink with us anymore? Why can't you do this
Mhm.
anymore?" Um, well, you can say, "Well, I can, but I choose not to."
Mhm.
Or giving them a simple response of this way works for me and my this is what my body needs to be
Mhm.
healthy. And if that means not drinking or if this means not eating the rolls, then I'm okay giving that up. It's just a common a simple way of saying I'm happy with the way I am. You
Mhm.
can't play the keto martyr. You can't play
No.
the carnivore martyr of woe is me. Now I can. be upset about not having dairy. Just give that to me
You're still
because
in the
I love
grieving
it.
process.
I'm still in the
Yeah.
grieving process, and that's going to take a while.
Yeah.
But giving the people a response of, even if with dairy, like if they're giving me this cheese pizza and saying, "Oh,
Mhm.
we're gonna have cheese pizza tonight," and I'll say like, my body doesn't like it. I'm allergic. I'll bring something myself for it to
Right.
bring. I'll have an option for myself.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't like the sugar crash. I don't like
right?
the feeling after I eat it. I don't like how I feel.
Yeah,
For me, I say I'm choosing not to because I'm a food addict and one bite will send me on a 30-pound sugar binge. I am
yeah,
honest with myself. I know that about myself. And so I am standing up for me. I'm protecting me.
right.
And also, putting some nice creamy coffee in your hand and having that there, people want to know you're having fun.
Hmm.
They want to know that you're being taken care of. So if you don't struggle with dairy, if you don't struggle with, say, some keto treats, put some of that yummy chocolate in your purse that is approved. Put that in there and enjoy it with them. Go to somewhere like Baked by Vi's. Get your cheesecake. Get those things. Bring it to the event. So, and again, it's if you don't have a dairy, it's if this is in your lifestyle,
Yeah.
bring that to the party with you and enjoy it. Do not ever, if your daughter is getting married and having wedding cake at her wedding, do not come to that wedding without a keto wedding cake. Yes, they are out there. Are
Hmm.
you going to have to work a little bit for it? Are you going to pay for it? I would pay whatever it cost to have that. My beautiful daughter-in-law, she did that for us when she got married. I think both of them did actually. I think there was sugar-free desserts at that wedding. I couldn't thank her enough. And what you'll find is those other people who are quietly living in the shadows, who are desperately searching for ways to get through this FOMO and this peer pressure. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is a safe place." When we walk into Thanksgiving, you and I,
Yeah.
it's a safe place because most of us have changed our lives.
Yeah.
Like, probably 50% of us live the same, and it's like it's a safe place. When you walk into a barbecue place, it's a safe place.
Yeah.
And so bring it with you.
It's interesting also that, someone who's diabetic that goes to a place and they should not be eating sugar.
No.
More than likely, if they go into a wedding, they're gonna have that piece of cake because,
Yeah.
again, there's not an option. But if you are providing an option for somebody that's not even keto, but
Yeah.
they're diabetic, they are the happiest person because, like, "Oh, wow." Like, you thought, and gluten-free, like, if you're thinking of
Yeah.
a gluten-free person, they're
Yeah.
more than likely not gonna have, that
You wanna
fancy
talk
dessert
about
as
a love
well.
language right there.
Yeah.
Provide
You're
your
like,
people with that.
"Wow." And that is
Yeah.
safety. I love
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
Yeah. It is a wonderful place when people care about, or when they
Yeah.
ask you, "Do you have any?" And this goes well beyond preferences.
Mhm.
I prefer chicken over this is a health
Yeah.
deal. And for a food addict, the minute they took a bite of something sweet or something processed or something off plan, it for them is a relapse.
Yeah.
Relapses are dangerous. It could be the last relapse they ever have. We know that there are always relapses in our life, but there may not be another recovery for that person. And
Mhm.
so it is vital that you get a hold of this and holding your lifestyle with pride and not arrogance, but pride and a steadfastness. Here's the tip that I use for people who say, "Monica, I've got a meeting." Oh my gosh, because we talk about this every session we have with the client. What do you got
Mhm.
coming up? How can we ketoize it? How can we get you through this without going off plan? And we have two premises that we use. One, are you going to see these people again? Are these constant friends or family in your life? Constant meeting people? Are you going to see these people again? If you see these people again and those are your people, you need to have a tough conversation with them. You need to come to Jesus meeting with them. They need to know that number one, you're not going to force them into your lifestyle. Number two, you're not shaming them for their lifestyle. Number three, you don't expect them to cook for you, right? but that you are choosing to eat in a certain way. So first Bible study you have, hey, I just need to let you know this is how I eat, but you're not going to have to provide anything. I always bring it. I always bring my own food. I always, everything's good, but you just need to know to not be offended if I don't eat the sugar, if I don't eat this.
Mhm.
If you never see them again, if this is a one and done kind of deal, you can get through it with a strong gut. You can move things around your plate. If you're handed a plate with a piece of cake in it, that's going to take some stamina from you. It's going to take a backbone. Let's say an 80-year-old grandma hands you a piece of cake. You're not going to see her. She's at at an event and says, "Hey, here's a piece of cake." I hold on to the plate. Absolutely. I'll hold on to that plate. I'll cut up the cake. I'll cut up and I'll spread it around on my plate. So nobody knows if I've taken a bite or not. I don't
Mhm.
take a bite, but it's spread around. I don't cause a scene and I don't do the announcement, I'm keto. I don't eat this. I just say, "Oh, thank you." Cut it up, spread it around my plate. Nobody knows that I'm not taking a bite. Now, if you're a food addict, if you're a sugar addict, and you find that to be a struggle, you may have to have another route. You may have to gently put that plate down and
Mhm.
walk away. But
Isn't there's a client that they always use their spouse
uh huh,
as a go-to where they are
yep,
like, "Oh, here, have this
try this.
and
Yeah,
eat it
uh huh,
for me."
yeah,
Even though it's enabling your spouse, but your
yeah,
spouse may not have an issue with a food
yeah.
addiction or anything like
She's
that.
got a
Yeah.
wingman and there's a
Yeah.
step in between. But I'm
Right.
telling you, if you're going to see these people again, you're going to have the courage to have that conversation.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing, if they know you're on a diet, they know you're gonna be off of it because you have. You have
Yeah.
never taken it so seriously, so they're just gonna wait for you to fail. Some of them will push you to
Yeah.
fail
Um,
harder.
so in the carnivore world, I honestly think when I go to an event, there's not going to be enough protein for me. Usually, when anybody gets anything protein or meat wise, it's
Mhm.
a very small portion. So if you have an event as such and you are carnivore, even if you are heavily eating, and this works in keto too, but that's where you have a pregame where you make sure that you get protein or you even pack protein in your purse or whatever so that you get enough protein that when
Yeah.
you get to your event, then if there is a small piece of
Mhm.
chicken or
Yeah,
that sort, you can still partake in that, but you're not gonna be looking like a little piggy, you just
exactly.
eating all the meat, and then people are
Right.
judging you because people do that. They look like, "Why are you
Mhm.
taking all the good stuff?"
Yeah,
And when they've
they
got
do.
their plate full of all the carbs and everything, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But,
We have a
so
whole toolbox full of
yeah.
tricks that we teach our folks to do when you're in uncharted waters.
Yeah.
There is no time. I have been on this plan for 8 years, and there's no time that you ever have to go off plan. You don't.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
people are like, "Oh, Monica, you're just no." There is no time. And going back to, you talked about your moment of when you changed into the lifestyle. Mine was when I sat across from the client whose husband was a nuclear radiologist, and she showed me what happens when you feed your body sugar, what happens to cancer cells.
Wow.
When I saw them soak up those cancer cells, like and turn into like this light glowing yellow and detecting cancer, that was my lifestyle change. And I'm like, never again will sugar go in my body. Never again.
Right.
Now, has it accidentally? It's life. But that was the moment I said, never again. That was my lifestyle moment. I do not want to feed my body cancer. To feed my body sugar that feeds cancer. I don't want to do it. And so
Right.
if you've got a big enough why and a strong enough, you're not going to let any of your people or any of your family friends. Now, you know what the hardest no that I have ever done?
What was that?
The absolute, I have been through every peer pressure. But the other day, I'm sitting there holding my grandson,
Oh.
and he says, "Mammy," and he has a goldfish cracker in his hand. And he put it on my lips. Mammy, you turn.
Oh.
Y'all drop in the comments what you do. Don't even tell me cheating is not an option. It wasn't an option for my grandson. Give me tips on what do you do for your grandkids. That was hard. That was more peer pressure than anybody ever gave me. And I just what I did. You want to know what I did?
What'd you do?
I put it in my hands and I kind of hid it behind you. If you're listening to us on podcast, you can't see it, but I put it in my hands and then I kind of wiped it away. So it
Oh, that
looked
was
like
good. That
it
was
was
like
it was good.
trickery. Yeah.
But it was hard. That was hard.
Yeah.
Mammy. We're working
Mine
on
was
Grammy, but he's calling me Mammy now and I'm half like I don't even care.
that is adorable.
Ah!
My kids, live I mean, we were probably about a year into this lifestyle, maybe almost a year and a half, and Silas, my youngest, said, "When are you done with this
Mhm.
when are you done with keto?"
Mhm.
Because 'Cause I'm like, "Why? Don't you" I mean, I'm living this lifestyle so I can be happy and healthy and
Mhm.
be able to play outside with you, and he's like, "Well, I just wanna sit down on the couch and eat sugar with you."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like
It's
candy. I'm like, "I
real.
don't" and then I had to explain, like, well, this is why I can't do that. For one,
Yeah.
back in the day, I didn't realize how food addiction played a role in my life.
Yeah.
I could have used that one, but I'm like, sugar doesn't make me happy.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and from now on, like, it's just normalized. There's not that didn't ruin me. That didn't ruin him.
Mhm.
They just know that this is the lifestyle that we choose,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
um, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
it's real. Peer pressure is real. But
mhm,
if you cross the point where it's not an option for you, and if you cross that point of I want my health and I want to live longer than I would have lived if I was killing my body with food. If you cross over and you grab a hold of how to handle social issues, and we only scratch the surface today. We
yeah,
just scratch the surface with all of the tools and the tricks that we use with our clients. If you get this and you have determined that there is nothing that could knock you off, no social event, nothing that could knock you off course, then you have found your lifestyle
mhm,
and you have found freedom for the rest of your life. But if you go to these events and you apologize and um, you're insecure, you cave and you cannot stand up to peer pressure, you're on a diet. That diet will last about 6 weeks until they get you back into their world again.
mhm,
If you don't get this, if you don't get this specific topic, you are on a diet.
right. And it's hard work.
Mhm.
It's not gonna be easy to
No,
just say no.
no.
It's gonna take you a lot of, journaling. It's
Mhm.
gonna take you a lot of reflection on your choices, on what you want to be or why.
Mhm.
When you are, 50 or even
Uh-huh.
20 or 10 years down the road,
Mhm.
you've gotta have that reflection of like, "Okay, where do I see myself?"
Yeah.
When you realize that you're shortening your life
Yeah.
by eating the way that everybody wants you to eat,
Uh-huh.
I mean, are you gonna be happy with that? Are
Right.
you okay with canceling out 10 years of your life?
Yeah.
Or do you want to live life to the fullest
Mhm.
and are capable of saying, no, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay adding years onto my life,
Right.
God willing.
Right. Exactly.
But you can do the best. And we're not obviously not guaranteed, 50 plus years or
Mhm.
adding on years to our life.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can be proactive about
Yeah.
that instead of
I'll
taking
take
it
the
away.
odds. I'll take
Yeah.
and just the feeling of living, now in the current state, with a clear mind and with having energy for the first time in my life. It's worth it. It's worth standing up for me. There are part of I think part of the issue is we become a society of people pleasers, and you see it on Facebook. You see nobody stands up for their beliefs, because
No,
they're
they don't.
afraid of what people think.
They don't want conflict.
They don't want conflict.
Yeah.
And because of that epidemic, we've put ourselves on the back burner and we've become a very sick nation because we have let the weak lead the strong.
Yeah.
And I think we're reversing that with this Maha movement. I think we're reversing that. We're taking back what has been taken from us. And that's frankly, it's our courage.
Yeah.
So we encourage our listeners, those who subscribe to this podcast, those who watch us weekly on Facebook, become that strong person. Become that person who stands up for them. A lot of people think it's selfish, and a lot of people think what I do is selfish. But actually, the opposite is true because I'm going to live longer for my kids and my grandkids. That is actually the most loving thing that you can do for them.
Mhm.
It's selfish for you to stay sick.
Yeah.
That's a strong statement.
Yeah.
When you have a choice, it is selfish for you to stay sick over a donut, over I can't say no, over peer
Mhm.
pressure. That is where it's selfish. And you can fight me on that. Absolutely. I'll take that. I'll take that battle on any day. But those people who give into peer pressure, they think they're doing the selfless thing, and it's the most selfish thing they can do
Yeah.
because we're going to have to live life without you.
Right.
Not
When
worth it.
when in the same moments of those times where you're feeling pressured to join in on the fun that
Mhm.
everybody else is partaking in,
Mhm.
which is usually revolved around food or
Yeah.
drinking, you can be making different memories,
Yeah.
doing things that
Absolutely.
are active
Mhm.
with everybody that you're friends with, or focusing on something other than food and drinking.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's it's as simple as that.
It-
But we don't want to put the effort into putting things together or thinking,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't feel like walking."
Yeah.
Well, even if you don't feel like walking, you're getting outside of your comfort zone,
Right.
or
Yeah.
saying it, you're going
Use the
against the
5 second
grain.
rule.
Yeah.
Use the 5 second rule when you want to change your life. Count down from 5. Get off the couch, get it done, no excuses. So, hey, we know that it is a struggle. That's why we do what we do.
Hmm.
Anybody could go to the interwebs and say, "Okay, give me a keto meal plan." That is not successful when the accountability and support is not there for the majority of people. Some people can do it, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we do what we do. That's why we spend hour upon hour every single day working with people. 90% of what we do is working with people through life, 10% is calories.
Yeah.
And so if you have come to the point where you're like, I've tried everything, I think I might be addicted to food, I think I might be addicted to sugar, I think I might have a problem that's bigger than a quick diet, then that's when you reach out to us. You go to
Hmm.
our website, kmhealthcoaching.org. You go down to coaches, you choose your coach, and you sign up for a free session with us so that we could help guide you to the right program. We don't want you in the wrong program. If you're not a food addict, we don't want you in that program. That is an intense program. You would not
It
want
is.
to be in that program. If you struggle with food addiction, we don't want you in the diet program. We don't want you in the weight loss program because that is going to only cause you and send you to relapse. So sign up for a time with us, do a free call with us. We'll talk to you first. By the way, our meal plans now are connected directly to Instacart. And so you can sign up for our meal plan program and have your grocery cart connected directly to that menu. It's a really awesome program. You'll find
Yeah.
that menu plan if you want to just do that on the outside. It's called Empower Eats. You can go over and grab that program. And also, that program is connected directly to our food tracker. So you don't have to figure the macros out on
Mhm.
those. It's just done for you. Everything is so simple. We've taken all the excuses away.
Yeah. Es
So, it,
especially, and we don't necessarily need this in our lifestyle, but
mhm.
we love them. Our full script,
Yeah.
yeah, our, vitamins and
Hmm.
supplements, things like that. We also have, connections with that. I love
Hmm.
that new, like, I'm just thinking of all the handy dandy
Oh
things
my
that we have
gosh.
going on in our program
Yeah.
between the
Plus, it gives them a
Instacart.
discount.
Yeah.
If you have your natural supplements, it gives you a discount. It comes directly to your door.
And did you know, this is a side note, this is a random thought. I heard that they have tested Amazon vitamins,
Uh huh.
and some of them are not even legit.
Nope.
They are just relabeled, and they
Yeah.
have different supplements that don't even, it's not even the
Yeah.
right vitamin that's
Yeah, they
supposed to be
make
in
them
there.
differently. Some of those companies make them differently for Amazon as than they
Yeah,
do full script. Yeah,
isn't
you're
that,
getting heavy metals, you're that needs to be brought to the attention of RFK, I
it
believe.
sure
That should be
does.
illegal.
It should be, because that's false advertisement.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you could
for
be
sure.
allergic to something that they're putting in there,
Yeah.
or not. I mean, you might have like 1% of what you actually need from that
Yeah.
vitamin, and the rest of it you're just peeing out.
Yep.
So,
Cheaper is not always better, right?
no, or convenience of how fast it gets to you.
Exactly. Exactly. Well,
So,
if you need our help, give us a call, sign up for a free slot with us, and join us every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here. We'll talk about what you want to talk about. So send us some ideas. If you're like, hey, could you talk about this? Send it to us. If
yeah,
it's something I don't want, I'll toss it over to Darcy.
it's normal. It's
Also,
normal.
if you want a directional change in your life and you want to become a health coach, we have the capacity now to certify keto and carnivore coaches. We give you a business in the box, so you don't even have to create your business. It is done for you, and you can coach full time. You can cross six figures completely. You can change your life if you want to change others' lives.
And it's so worth it.
Yeah, it is.
I
It is.
love what I do.
I love waking up every morning. Mondays are a little rough for me. Whoo boy,
It's a full day.
especially yesterday. All right, guys,
Uh,
we will see you next Tuesday morning at 11 a.m.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Coach Monica here. Guess what? If you're fed up with feeling stuck in your battle with weight or food, I've got something just for you. Check out our free Facebook groups. Over at Food Addiction and Recovery, I'm over there waiting for you. We're going to walk this journey together. It's about getting real, sharing our stories, and lifting each other up. We're in this together every step of the way. And if you're curious about changing your life with keto, the Weight Loss Project is where you want to be. Coach Darcy is amazing. And together, we're not just talking about losing weight. We're talking about finding a happier, healthier you. So, what do you say? Are you ready to join us? The links are in the show notes below, and I'm telling you, this is more than an invite. It is the start of something great. We cannot wait to see you over there.